So Suzanne, what are we cooking next?
Okay, so next up is our corn pudding, and this is one of my favorite dishes and one of Nadia's favorite dishes and my kids' favorite dishes, and it's the easiest dish ever because it uses some canned corn instead of fresh corn. So first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven, and as you know, ovens in the US we use Fahrenheit temperature. The most common temperature is 350 degrees. That's usually what you will bake at. And so today we are going to set our oven to 350 degrees to preheat the oven. And then we'll start with our corn pudding. I have 1 stick of butter, which is 8 tablespoons or 4 ounces of butter. And I'm going to melt the butter. And the way I like to do that, the easiest way for me is in the microwave, but if you prefer the stovetop, you can melt your butter on the stovetop. I'm going to pop it in the microwave for about 1 minute and let that melt.
And meanwhile?
Meanwhile, I have cracked my 3 eggs into a mixing bowl, and I'm going to use a whisk. This is a whisk. Vocabulary word, maybe. And I'm going to whisk my eggs. This is called beating the eggs. So I'm beating the eggs with my whisk. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork. It works just as well. So beat your eggs with a whisk or a fork until they're all mixed. Okay, and then basically we just are going to combine all of our ingredients.
And what are the ingredients for this recipe?
The ingredients for this recipe, we have 1 can of whole corn. So this is just our regular canned corn.
Do we need to drain it, or?
You don't need to drain it. So you put everything in, including all of the liquid from the can. Okay, super easy. And then we have a second can of corn, but this one is different. This can is called sweet corn cream style. So we call it creamed corn. It looks different. It's been pureed a bit, and it's a thicker mixture, and that's what we call creamed corn. So I'm going to put that can in next. You can find both of these cans of corn side by side at your grocery store in the canned vegetable section. Third, or fourth, I'm going to put sour cream.
So, how much do we need? Like 1?
Okay, so for the sour cream, you need, it's 8 ounces. So in the grocery store, usually it is sold in small tubs like this, which is 8 ounces. Sometimes you'll see a bigger tub, which is 16 ounces, so you would just want half. So 1 container of sour cream, 8 ounces.
Goes in there.
I will put all of that in. Okay, and lastly, or almost lastly, we have cornbread mix. So I like this brand. It's called Jiffy, and it actually says corn muffin mix, but it's the same, corn muffin, cornbread. So you can choose any brand that you like. It will also be sold in packages. 8.5 ounce package is what you want. Jiffy you can find at all the grocery stores in the baking section of the grocery store, and it's my favorite brand, but if you have a different brand that you like, you could try that also. So I dump it in, and I'm going to give that a mix, stir, before I add my butter, which I melted. And in this case, my butter that I used is unsalted butter. And I like a little bit of salt in this recipe, so I'm going to add just kind of a pinch of salt. That's about a half a teaspoon or so of salt. If you use salted butter, you may want to add less salt or no salt at all. You can kind of dip your finger in and taste it and see what you think. But I usually add about a half teaspoon of salt to the mix. So I'm going to get my butter out of the microwave and add that. It's all melted. I just pour it in and mix a bit more. Oops. A little bit on the floor for Sammy down there. Sammy's my little cleanup dog. She will eat anything that lands on the floor for me, so it's very helpful in the kitchen. And that is what our corn pudding looks like before it goes into the oven. So you can see really quick, really easy, and the taste is really delicious. I'm going to come over here, and I have a baking dish that I'm just going to grease. We call that greasing the pan. So this is about a 1.5 or 2 quart size baking dish. So I just take some butter on my paper towel and spread it all over the bottom and up the sides of the pan. So the pan is greased. Then grab this is a rubber spatula or rubber scraper. And I will just pour the corn pudding in. Let's see what the best angle is so you can see.
Yeah.
And I like this rubber scraper or rubber spatula as it's called. Either way, we have 2 words for the same thing. Rubber scraper to scrape the bowl clean and get all of the corn and everything into my baking pan. Okay. And as you can see, it's quite liquidy. We're going to put it in the oven. Oops, I spilled a little, but that's okay. And it will bake for about 45 minutes, just until the center is kind of set and not too jiggly. So we will check back. I'll set my kitchen timer for 45 minutes and we'll check back and see when it's finished. Okay, so I just heard the buzzer go off. It's been about 35 minutes, and I'm going to check the corn pudding. So open the oven, and you can see it here. When I jiggle it, it's a little jiggly, still a little brown around the edges, and looks pretty cooked on top. It could go maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, but if you're going to make it in advance, you can take it out now and then just when you reheat it, let it get a little more brown on top. But I like mine to be a little jiggly, more puddingy in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out now, and you can serve it right away, or you could let it cool down a little bit and serve it later at room temperature.